Hey everybody, Dr. Paul hanging out with Dr. Chris Zano. We are super excited to have him on our stage this year. Kind of our message, Chris, this year is that you're one message away from changing your life in practice. So we're trying to help folks understand that, we're gonna have 25 people there sharing the chiropractic message, but they don't know which one they're gonna resonate with that day, right? It's like hearing a pastor preach. Like you might show up at somebody's church and just get that one message that day that's like just triggers something in you. So I just wanted to jump on the call with you and let you kind of let them know what they might expect, what they can implement on Monday to make them better.
Well, really, I believe the title of my talk is the art, A-R-T, of the hero and the art of the villain. And what's very important in our practice, I believe that most chiropractors are living a sort of secret identity in their practice. You're practicing according to what all these other people think you should be practicing, or what you thought you should have practiced in school. So what happens is you start putting on these false wardrobes, watering down things because you think you should be doing it because other people told you to. And in that process, you never truly express who you're really created to be. Like when I think of like a Billy DeMoss, who's going to be speaking there as well. Like the reason why a lot of you guys either love him or don't like him, but what you can do is you respect him because you see someone who's fully embracing their true hero. Like he's comfortable being himself. Yeah. And Paul, I would say that's one of the number one reasons why I was able to achieve what I did in chiropractic, because I remember the day I felt like I had, my analogies, I felt like I was wearing a suit jacket that was too large and shoes that were too tight. I emulated so many other great chiropractors, which is good. Like modeling works, but I modeled so many other chiropractors that I remember I looked in the mirror one day, I'm like, I don't even know who I am. Yeah. And so when I gave myself permission, allowed myself to really be Chris, then that's when we grew 2,000 visits in 19 months.
So you just let your innate ability express itself.
Paul, it was when I would do a talk and I would have a book and I would read my script of the talk, because my script was listening to you and listening to everybody else. I made a script that I would speak. Yep. And then one day I forgot my script. I forgot my book. My team didn't do it. And I realized at that moment, I just had to share my life and share my story, because I realized no one could tell my story better than me and tell my experience better than me. And it really gave me that freedom to speak from here, not from here. And I realized when I started speaking from my heart, and that's the art of this, guys, right? Like when I adjust you, I could tell you the technique of it, but there's a heart, there's a fourth dimension, there's a heart issue there that really makes the dramatic improvement. So whether it be how I spoke or how I did it day one, it all was coming from really who I was created to be, not the words. The words were good, but what really took us to another level was allowing my life to be the underlying foundation and source of those words that I spoke.
Oh, that makes so much sense. I remember thinking back to my early practice days that I did that exact, it's kind of that same story. Like I had my mentor and I was like, I'm doing I even told his stories, this kid's his daughter and she got adjusted just because I was so new and it was uncharted territory. So, but then you're right, practice took off once it became, so that's cool. So is the villain, is that just your, somebody's internal, shield or fear from wanting to be themselves instead of expressing?
See, I think the villain isn't really who we think the villain is. The villain is the secret identity that we possess, which is the villain is really not allowing ourselves to be who we were truly heroically created to be. When we have that gut intuition to speak the truth and we hold back because we're worried about what people think, or we do, or we don't, or we're afraid to break protocol because maybe breaking protocol in that moment was the thing that could save someone's life. And we're worried about all these other people, or you're worried about how's that going to sound to this person or the board or this and that, but realize like the hero, no matter what, he's a potentialist or she's a potentialist, meaning that in the moment, you just do the best you can with what you got in the moment you have it. And you're right. So the secret identity is really the villain, and the hero is your true authentic self. And the hero, let's put it in chiropractic terms, and when you hear me talk this, it's truly the innate intelligence. It's our inner being. It's always been there. The hero, if you have kids, Paul, you have kids, right?
Yep.
So when you look at your kids when they were 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, well, they had a lot of imagination. They were fearless. They had pride. They had ego. They were loving. They believed. They questioned limitations. They lived in present time. They didn't live in vertical. They lived in vertical time, not horizontal time. They were loving. They were creative. They wanted to play all day, and they were closers. My kids have closed 100%. They have 100% close rate. And I looked at my son, and I was like, and he would wear superhero pajamas. He would dance. He would run naked. Like, I looked at him like, wow. And I told myself this, Bob, like, I wish I had those qualities.
Yeah, that freedom.
And it punched me in the face going, well, wait a second. That was us. And then I realized, like, so we forgot. So something happened. So our kids that have those qualities, they didn't go to Anthony Robbins. They didn't spend money on books or seminars. So it proves that it's our innate pure, it's the innate hero. It's exactly what we were born with. And therefore, so something happened between 8, and I call it was, teachers, institutions, all these other stuff.
Coaches.
In this secret identity. And it's no different of us going to chiropractic school and loving our mentors and saying what our mentors said and dressing like our mentors. And like, it was never allowing us to become childlike again. And then when you become childlike and you go back, or you don't back, you remember all those qualities that we always had. We're fearless. We're closers. We're relentless. We're loving. We're not skeptical. We live in the now. It's just like, that is our true innate nature. So that is the inner hero. And there's an art to that. And the art of it is, and that's what I love about what you're talking about. The art is like, you have the science and you have the philosophy, but man, there's an art, and the art is the unique hero in all of us. So that's why I'm talking about emulating. Like, modeling is great, but even though modeling is effective and you will do well, after you'll still have underdeveloped individuality.
Yeah. Good, man. That's powerful. I'm excited for that. So anything else you want to wrap it up with before we bounce and see you on stage September 14 and 15?
Yeah. So just think Monday, you're going to be going back, giving yourself freedom by remembering who you were really created to be. And, it's kind of like a culling. You're going to come up and you're going to walk into your office Monday, and maybe there's some things you're going to get rid of, and maybe some things you're going to just really have the most fun you ever had in practice. Because let me tell you, when you're yourself, there's no acting involved. There's no performing. No, when you're yourself, it is just the true beautiful nature of who you were created to be. And that becomes extremely attractive to people. And that's how you uplift people and change your community.
That's awesome. It's funny. So along this topic, I just sent an email out to our group yesterday talking about breaking the chains of fear and confusing and crossing that epiphany bridge, right? So that's really a lot of what you're going to be hitting on. So that's super cool. So
we'll rock it.
Yeah. Hey, brother, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you. I'm so looking forward to you coming out to the Great Pacific Northwest, rocking the stage September 14 and 15. So thank you for your time, Chris. Loved you and your family while you're in Utah hanging out.
Right.
So everybody, make sure you get to the chirofest.org and register while we still have our early bird fee. So you're going to see Chris on stage, 30 minutes, busting it out for you. So thanks, everybody.